Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm here reviewing Super Sucker by Rizki Nanda. Is this one of the most visual, practical, and endearing magic tricks? Stick around and please subscribe to find out. Oh, and before we do that, just so any magic distributors know, or magic creators, if you'd like me to review your product, please send it to me. Contact me at bffanmail@gmail.com and we can work something out. I'll let you know my address and all of that. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start out with a quick performance of Super Sucker. If I want, I can just create a coin from thin air or pull it from behind your ear. It depends. Now, you may have seen a family member do this trick on you before, but as a gift, I'm going to add a magic wand to it. Because, as you guys know, I've been doing my first TV show called Unfiltered Minds. Check it out when it's released this summer. Telescopic TV. But if I take the magic wand and tap it against the coin, it sticks, making the wand become a lollipop. Sorry, I said this was for you, so it's better if it's wrapped, right? That's a performance of Super Sucker. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. Let's get right into the review. So I hope you all enjoyed that performance once again. As you can tell, this is exceptionally visual, and it's a really good trick to do on an offbeat moment, or if a kid wants to see a trick. A kid who's obviously not a magician, but yeah, this is really visual. I don't think it's a magician fooler, but it's really cool because the moment they see the moment the coin gets pulled out of the ear, that's one moment of magic. Then the moment you take it, stick it, and make the lollipop appear, that's another moment. Then the moment where you make it wrap is a third moment. So it's bam, bam, bam. This is really very visual magic. And by the way, this is super killer for a group of 2 to 3 people. I'm sure you could do this 180 degrees, which we'll talk about in a moment, but the angles aren't perfect, which we will talk about soon. So first off, what do you get? You get this nice magnetic enclosed box, and inside you get a link to a tutorial on P3 Magic, as well as one strawberry dum-dum lollipop and the coin gimmick, which I can't show you any more of than just the performance. But yeah, it's really, really, really visual, and that's what you get. You get the tutorial. The tutorial's taught by Nick Lacapo, the Penguin Magic guy. He teaches for 35 minutes, and it includes the tutorial includes some live performances, and that's always a good sign. So first, let's talk about the quality of the gimmick. So the gimmick's really clever. It's really similar to another hit Penguin release from Nathan Kranzo. I won't say the name, but you should probably be able to work it out. It is also a very visual trick. It happens just by shaking something, and the gimmicks for this and the Nathan Kranzo effect are really similar, but they're not the exact same. So that's why this is $5 more than the Nathan Kranzo effect. Well, I think that's one of the factors, at least. So yeah, the gimmick's super clever. It's really quite good. However, there are some things that Penguin Magic could have done to it to make the moment where you shake the coin and then stick this here be a little bit easier. Like, it's super easy and super practical, but sometimes if you do something the wrong way, you have to reposition the coin and it gets a little knacky. You could flash on angles, and that's never a good thing. The quality of the gimmick, as I said, is very relatively durable. It feels like plastic, but I don't want to drop it because I don't want to take the chance it shatters on the ground. But right now it feels pretty durable, and I think this will last for a ton of performances. But what won't last for a ton of performances is the lollipop. This is a regular lollipop, by the way. But the thing is, with these lollipops, the wrapper is very, very loose, which makes the effect super hard. It makes noise because of this. So I had to actually take some glue and glue shut the lollipop, which I don't think is very food safe. So I will not be handing this lollipop out to the spectator, but I just wish these lollipops would be a little bit tighter, or come a little bit tighter. If I do end up handing these out to the audience, I'll have to buy new ones, because where I live, you can't get these lollipops just anywhere. So I have to search online, and in the future, when I do perform this, I do intend to give the lollipop away, because I feel if you do that, it's very endearing and it's very nice effect, very heartwarming. But I will not use glue, just to make things clear. I will not use glue on this if I'm performing this for a real person and giving them that. But there is a trade-off. That will make this wrapper get a little bit in your way. So the gimmick quality is good, but the wrapper of the actual lollipop, which is a real lollipop, by the way, is not so much. So let's talk about how the tutorial is. The tutorial is really great. As mentioned, it's Nick Lacapo from the P3 Magic Studio. He goes in depth, he's well mic'd, and the quality of the tutorial is just really good. It's, as mentioned, includes live performances. I love live performances in tutorials. Any magic creators or distributors know live performances help you out a lot. Oh, by the way, Nick addresses some subtleties and other ways to perform Super Sucker, similar to the Nathan Kranzer release. Now the most dreaded part that I didn't want to talk about, the angles. What are the angles like? Well, to be honest, they're not great. They're about 180 degrees, and that is if you're really using your fingers to cover up the sides of the gimmick. Like, if you're doing that, I won't flash. I'll try really hard not to flash, but this is, in my opinion, only good for if you're doing this for a camera and everyone's watching a projector, or if you're doing it for like 5 people at a time, like a few people. The gimmick can't stand scrutiny of like 20 people surrounding you and being around you. This is good if you're on a stage and if they're projecting it onto the screen. I just have to do the effect again. I don't know. It's so visual for camera. Here, I'll show you again. Take this, stick it to the coin. Oh yeah, here's another variation. Nick Lacapo teaches you how to make the coin stick to the lollipop stick, and then make it actually turn into a lollipop, and then actually wrap itself. So that's another variation Nick Lacapo teaches. But yeah, the angles shouldn't be too much of an issue if you're doing this on the offbeat, which I tend to do. Now let's talk about the difficulty and practicality of this effect. But yeah, this, I say, is really an intermediate effect, because you do need some good audience management skills. You need to be able to control where your audience is standing, and you have to make sure their heads aren't going to the side trying to figure out where the trick is. Like, you have to, don't perform this trick if you have a bunch of hecklers. If you're at a table full of hecklers trying to point out your secrets, don't perform this trick. Perform it on a table that so far has reacted well to your magic and has been happy and screaming, kind of like, speaking of which, if you're wondering how my performance went last night, it was with over 50 to 100 people, I'd say, and it went great. It went well, except for a little minor hiccup involving not so much a heckler, but a kid, and the kid did not really follow instructions. I may post a performance video eventually, but I haven't had the time to go through it and fully analyze the performance yet. But yeah, this isn't insanely difficult. It requires some practice, and the moment that this happens, the moment that it changes to a lollipop, that requires some work. The moment that it changes to a wrapped lollipop, that's easier because it's on the offbeat. But if you do Nicola Capo's handling, where you first change it into a lollipop and then wrap it, that takes more practice, obviously, and that's only a one-person trick because the angles. As for practicality, you just pop the gimmick and the lollipop in your pocket. Nick also says to get a regular nickel so you can show it front and back. But the issue with that is my coin was made in 2012, and all the other nickels I have, and this is a US nickel, by the way, all the nickels I have were made more recently. Like, the most far back one I could find was from 2017, and that does not match. I'm sure the spectator won't notice, but it's just the overall design of the nickel it appears to be way different now than it was before. But yeah, this is quite practical, but if you can't find an old nickel to do this trick with, you just have to watch your angles really closely when you're doing that, or if you're doing this effect when you're shaking it, then you have to watch your angles very closely. So that affects the practicality of this trick. But it is practical, and I'd say this is very similar to a trick called Sticky Situation by Andrew Levis, and it's presented by Rick Lax. I highly suggest you check that out after this video. It's really good. I don't have mine anymore because I gave it away, but it's where you take a chewed up piece of gum, which I don't think is as good actually because of hygienic purposes. But you take a chewed out piece of gum, stretch it back to a normal gum, then rewrap it. I think this is very similar, except it uses a quarter and it's not unhygienic. So I think that solved the problem with Sticky Situation. Now, is there any DIY? No. But it does help if you screw the paper on the wrapper of the lollipop tighter after the effect. Now, what's the reset like? It's pretty much instant. Let me just recap here. So you grab a new lollipop, you put it in your pocket, and then you put the gimmick in your pocket, and that's the reset. It's instant, and the only thing is, if you have to give away this lollipop, you have to get a new lollipop, which you shouldn't give this away probably unless you have a bunch of these lollipops. Like, if you only have one, then maybe give it away, but only if you get a really, really, really good table who's been really, really, really helpful with your tricks, no heckling or anything, then I'd give them this, because that's what I've done. I haven't done this effect specifically in any of my restaurant work or in magic work or anything. I've done this informally so far a few times, but formally I haven't used this yet, but I hope to use it eventually. But yeah, now let's see if the trailer and ad copy are honest. The only issue I have with the trailer, to be honest, is that in Nick's studio performance, the camera cuts away from his hands after he shows that he has the lollipop right before he shows it's wrapped. So that's not a big issue, but I could see where some people may be misled, that they think that the effect makes it visually create a lollipop and then visually create this. But I don't see that as a major issue, because let's be real here. Like, honestly, no one is going to see this in real life. And what the trailer shows is exactly what it's going to be seen like in real life. The only thing is some people may complain about the trailer. But to be honest, let's be real here. After you put the lollipop stick in there and make it turn into a lollipop, no one's gonna be like, you have plenty of time and misdirection to make it wrapped and do the secret move, which is super simple. No one's gonna be like, after you make it a lollipop appear, they're gonna be like, okay, I'm still looking at your hands. Like, that's just not what happens. Now let's see if the ad copy is honest. Here, I'll read it. Produce a coin from behind their ear and then transform that coin into a lollipop that you can give away. This is the ultimate anytime, anywhere magic trick that produces a sweet souvenir. True. This is Super Sucker by Rizki Nanda. Here's what happens. You reach behind a spectator's ear and you produce a nickel. An old trick for sure, but pulling coins from behind ears is a classic. True. You then pull out a small magic wand and touch it to the nickel. And it instantly sticks to the end. With just a shake, the nickel transforms into a lollipop. Then, with another shake, the lollipop visually wraps itself up. You can then immediately hand the lollipop to your spectators so they can enjoy a sweet treat during your show. Super Sucker is incredibly easier to do and comes ready to go out right out of the box. Well, I guess you kind of have to tighten the paper first, but you receive the special gimmick that allows you to perform this ultra-visual and extremely endearing effect. True. The sleights involved are well within the grasp of beginner magicians. Well, I'm sure that beginner magicians could do this, but I wouldn't say the sleights are well within the grasp. This takes practice and audience management. That's the only thing. Professionals will love how their audience reacts when they unwrap the lollipop and discover it's actually real. That is very true. That is very true. They want to open this lollipop. They think it's a trick lollipop. So if they get to open it, the moment of magic is just so insane. So, perfect for kids, but strong enough to use at your next corporate gig. Give away a sweet souvenir with Super Sucker by Rizki Nanda. That's the ad copy. Great. That's the only issue I had with the ad copy, and I was being nitpicky there, was the one I mentioned. So now let's talk about the price. As of right now, this is $30 US. When it was introduced to the magic community, they had a sale. But that's unfortunately finished now. Do I think the price is fair? Well, that's the thing. I think this is $30 is a bit of a stretch for what you're getting. I mean, sure, the gimmick is well made, but the coin is old. The tutorial's good. But I think if they wanted to charge $30, they should have at least included a few more lollipops, but I get you're paying for the method. So I think this should be around $25, maybe $27. I know that's an odd number, but yeah, I think this is relatively fair. Maybe go down to $25, just like the similar release from Nathan Kranzo. But alright, pros and cons. Pros, this is visual, it's practical, it's a good quickie, it's very endearing, there's a great tutorial, creative gimmick, it's a good icebreaker, the packaging is really good, and there are live performances on the tutorial. The cons are, this is just a hair overpriced. Only one lollipop is included. The lollipop's wrapper is a little loose for my liking, and part of the performance is not seen in the trailer. I get that that's how it plays in real life, but I just slightly wish that they could have included that. But it's fine. another con is that the lollipops cannot be purchased where I live, so I have to buy them online. So that sucks, pun intended. Because get it, super sucker, you get it. But the Gimmick coin has only one of something that allows it to stick to the lollipop stick. But I think it would have been better if it had two of them on the Gimmick, because it wouldn't cause any damage, but it would help the effect, in my opinion. So what do I give this? I give this a 94%. I really like this. Oh yeah, one more con is the angles. The angles aren't perfect. But what percent do I give this? I give this about 94%. This is good. I like it, but there are just some discrepancies with the Gimmick that are slightly annoying, and just the angles are a little annoying. The price is okay, but if they included more lollipops, this would definitely be a great price, and I would have given this a higher percentage. Anyways, I always try to give you all unbiased magic trick reviews. In the comments, let me know what you think of them. Am I doing a good job? Am I doing a bad job? It's really tough. I'm trying to give you all the facts here. I'm trying not to be biased at all. And if this did help you make a decision on whether or not you're going to get Super Sucker by Rizki Nanda, let me know in the comments. Let me know, did you enjoy this review? Was it kind of bad? Was it kind of good? And please subscribe for more magic tutorials, magic reviews, and more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.